Hey everyone, it's Jordan from Fishkeeping Made Easy, and today I'm going to give you my care guide on the Oscar. Since my trip to the aquarium in my last video, I've been doing a lot of research about Oscars as I do find them very interesting. They aren't very expensive and are commonly found in most fish shops. They have striking colours and big personalities, so a lot of people are drawn in by these fish, but Oscars are both one of the easiest fish to keep and also one of the hardest. As ravenous omnivores, they're super easy to feed and are very hardy fish, but they grow really large and are aggressive and territorial, and they can live up to 20 years. So all in all, these fish are quite a big commitment and aren't something you would just buy on a whim. So this care guide will include tank setup, diet, temperament, tank mates and more. So let's start with the tank setup. The Oscar is a South American cichlid native to Brazil, Colombia, Ecuador and Peru. They can be found along the Amazon River and its surrounding areas. These waters are warm, soft, acidic waters, so a temperature of around 24 to 25 degrees is ideal. A pH of 6 to 7.5 is also recommended, although, as I say in every care guide, captive bred specimens will be much more tolerant towards different water conditions than they're naturally found in. Now, there are loads of different styles of tanks you can go with an Oscar, so a rocky scape or a wood scape, but they can be quite destructive, so don't be too upset if they do destroy or uproot any of your plants. These fish can grow to around 12 inches, which is around 30 odd centimetres, so a large tank is definitely required. It's said that they can grow almost up to an inch a month, so they do grow pretty quickly. A minimum tank size of 55 to 60 gallons, so just over 200 litres for one adult. If you want to add more, then I would recommend 30 gallons per fish that you add. There are a lot of different recommendations when it comes to keeping them, so some people do suggest keeping one, some pairs, and others in larger groups, but it really depends on how big a tank you actually have. If keeping a larger group, it can be quite a good idea to buy them as juveniles, and also never have them as a 3, as potentially 2 of them could pair up, and which will leave one which will end up just being bullied. Now, some people might argue against this, but apparently there's no way of sexing Oscar fish. Oscars are monomorphic, which means the males and females look exactly the same. This says basically it's impossible to tell an Oscar by its colour, shape or size, but like I said, some people will argue you can tell the difference, but I'm not specialised in sexing Oscars, so I genuinely couldn't tell you if this is true or not. When it comes to an Oscar's diet, they will more or less eat anything, so a good mix of good quality frozen and pellet foods. Younger fish will enjoy things like bloodworms, krill and mysis, but as they get older they enjoy more meaty foods such as earthworms, mealworms, crickets and shrimp. I would also recommend giving them sort of pleck pellets or even veggies to ensure they get a nice mixed diet, as they do eat a lot of plant matter in the wild, but you should really have no issues feeding these guys, and one good sign is normally if they aren't eating anything, there's definitely something wrong. So let's talk about tank mates. Again, it's all dependent on the type of fish that you have. Now, some Oscars can be super aggressive and super territorial, so adding any fish might not be a good idea. Realistically, you'll need a very large tank if you're adding other fish in with the Oscars. 1, to deal with obviously the mess, but 2, to give the Oscars a bit of space so you're not going to have the aggression and territorial behaviours I was talking about before. Now, Oscars will eat anything they can fit in their mouth, so you're going to need a fish that's just as large or larger. Other South American cichlids work quite well, large plex, arowanas, clown loaches, large catfish, basically any monster fish and fish you can see in the background of this tank here, except from the red-tailed catfish obviously. Now, as long as there's enough space, you shouldn't have too many problems, but always prepare for the worst, and adding anything is at your own risk, so I'd maybe check that they do tolerate other fish, so you don't add something pricey in and they kill it within a couple of days. So, is this fish for you? Well, if you have a big enough tank and you're prepared to do large water changes, then this could be the fish for you. So this was just a quick care guide. Obviously I don't have any personal experience of keeping them, but if you enjoyed this, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next one.